Welcome to the Garage Engineer Workshop. I'm Dennis. Today I got something pretty exciting, something I've been wanting for a while. Well, I've been wanting another product, but this one came up and I think it's even better. It is electronics. It is made in China, but it came directly to the shop from China. It took about 2.5 weeks, and I've been tracking it online, which has been very interesting to see kind of the progression of where it was going and how the system was updated, which was very sporadically. So I'm excited to do this quick unboxing video because I wanted to show you what I found, but also I've got a lot of projects I want to use it on, so I wanted to get into it to show you my first impressions and then do some projects with it. Now at the Garage Engineer shop we do a lot of projects going from wood, metal, electronics, and I want to do a lot more electronic projects, and to do that I needed a better welder. Now, let me show you what I have been using. I've got my dad's old, this is a 100-watt soldering iron, which is good for bigger projects, bigger wires, but not really good for small electronics. So then I upgraded to the old standby welder. This is a 40-watt station. It works good. There's nothing wrong with it, but again, to use it, you've got to carry the station, you got to plug it in. It's good, but technology has gotten even better now. I've been looking online and found a lot of reviews on the T100 soldering irons, and they've looked amazing. The big benefit is you can plug them in directly to certain batteries and make it a small portable unit. It's around $80, and I have a link down below in the comments, and it's not that bad of a product, and there's nothing wrong with it really. I just didn't want to pay $80 when I had a unit. But then I learned about a company called Pinecil.org. They are a open sourced electronic with a community-based software development and the community-based design of the engineering equipment too. They do computers, phones, watches, pretty much anything electronics, but it's open source, which is kind of cool. So let's dig into the box and we'll see what we got. So now I've got you flipped around. We can take a look what's inside the box. They came with a USB-C on both ends. The one reason I got this was this is a silicone sheath wire. It's 5 foot long, but the silicone sheathing will resist burning if the iron actually touches it. So that's kind of neat. So I went ahead and got that. I'm sure you could get that on Amazon. The big thing is that I didn't have a power source strong enough. Now if you got some of the bigger laptops, it comes with a power that's powered off of USB-C. You'll have one of these. I don't have one, but I wanted to go ahead and buy one of their products. Pine Power 65 watt USB-C charger. It also has a USB-A on it, and it can do up to 65 watts. So this is set up for the United States electrical power grid here. There you go. Got it up. It does come with, well, it's in the box. It comes with the international adapters for it, but I'll be needing this. And here it is. The Pinecil. Not the pencil, the Pinecil. So it's not my southern drawl that's saying pencil wrong, it's the Pinecil. Because it looks like a pencil, but in pine is their company logo. So you got the base unit here, and then you got the tip that pops right in here with 2 screws that we need to tighten up. Let me get a screwdriver. So we got a little Phillips screwdriver, and we just screw it in with a Phillips just to make it a little bit better friction fit on there. So now we'll just plug in our USB-C into the back. There is actually 2. There's USB-C, and you can do a DC barrel jack when you're going directly to a 12 to 24 volt battery here. And then it gives you a nice user interface display here. It has a couple options. DC power source, 9 volts. So boost temp goes up to 120. That's if you push the plus button and you want to get a jump real quick. You can put it into sleep mode. Sleep temp 150. After 50 seconds it'll time out. It'll shut down after 10 minutes. So that's kind of nice. And motion activated, I think we'll let's see here. Let's leave it at 6 there. And then one more thing. I think we're going to change up the DC power source. Or, I'm sorry, the soldering settings. We're going to start at 0. Temp change. If you just push the button once, we're going to go up 10. In the long change, it can go up to 10 too. If you want to push a long hold, which I don't think I'd ever do that, but we'll leave that there. So there's one thing. I mean, I guess if you want to work in Fahrenheit, Celsius, I changed that to Fahrenheit. It was set to Celsius. Display orientation, you can do it upside down for left or right handers, which we might change that later. And that's also automatic. That's kind of neat. I guess it senses which way you're holding it. Now this was turned off. Cool down blinking, you might want to turn that on. What that does is that when it's starting to cool down, if it's been sitting for a while, it'll start to blink to let you know that it's cooling down and it's starting to shut off. So that's kind of a good indication of what's going on with it. So I think that's all we need here. And then we'll push the plus sign to get it started. See how fast it's heating up? See, you're starting to see the smoke too. So to get up to about, it's staying at 325 degrees Celsius. It got there in less than 20 seconds. So I mean, it's pretty much ready to go. Let me get some solder, I'll show you. So in less than, probably 5 seconds, it's already at soldering temperature. So I mean, that's showing you how quickly this works compared to the old Weller 40 watt. I mean, that's, you had to wait for it to heat up and get ready. I mean, this is instantaneous, ready in 5. And that's because I'm hooked up to a QC power brick. Now, if I hook it up directly to a battery, it might take a little longer, but I mean, you're not talking more than 30 seconds to charge up. We'll have to test that with a Makita battery and see how that goes, or DeWalt. And but it needs to be between that 12 and 24 volt range. But see, it's staying steady at 321 degrees. And then if you push the power button, it will jump up if you need that heat. You see right there where you get in the arrow. See, it's going up to 420. That's if you're trying to desolder and you need a little bit extra heat. And it's getting up there. So that is why I like these, because it's an instantaneous heat pretty much. And it's portable too. You don't need a lot of wires. You can even do this with a battery and it'd be just as good. So that's the Pinecil. So you can see the benefit. It heats up in probably 5 to 10 seconds and you're already ready to work. Whereas before you had to wait. Now a lot of you might say, well, I just do like woodworking, I don't really do electronics. But the benefit of having this is everyone is doing some type of wiring. If it's on your lawnmower, any type of project that requires splicing 2 ends, butt crimps are not good. You really need to do at least put a little solder in even if you're going to butt crimp them together. And that's where the benefit of this, having this in your toolbox, is small, compact, and it's ready to go. You don't even have to wait for it, because that's usually, if you had to pull out the old Weller, I mean, you would have to wait. I never even timed it, but I'd have to turn it on, go do something else, and then come back and do soldering. But that would slow down my flow of working on a project and just wanting to get going. So definitely the Pinecil. Or if you're not, the T100, if you want to get it pretty quick, go to Amazon and you can get one shipped to you. It's basically the same thing. It's software, they're both software driven. One's open source and one's closed. It's not a big deal. Okay, so for some testing purposes, we are going to try out, we've got a yellow battery, 18 volts, and we got our multimeter, our Pinecil, and I found a old DC charging cable. The reason I picked this one is because the actual barrel connector fits just right into the Pinecil. Remember, Pinecil. So first, let's get this wire chopped off, and then we'll connect it. We're going to connect it temporarily. Just this is more of a test before we make it permanent and find a good adapter for our battery. So the first thing you want to note is that the it takes 1221 volts. It's the negative is on the outside and the positive is on the inside of the DC barrel connector. We'll tape our Knipex wire cutters. We got these from the estate sale. If you saw that video, we got a really good deal on that. So we are going to cut that and split it. We'll strip a little bit of the ends off there. Now we've got a white line which should be negative, I think. Let's double check. So we'll take our multimeter. This is a new multimeter I've recently got. The reason why I like this one is because it has the amp clamp on it, and I use that for a couple projects. So I'm glad to get this one, and it's been really good. It's an Astro AI CM 4KOR, and it's auto ranging, which I'm still trying to get used to. It's not too bad, but it's been working pretty well for me. So we're going to put it on continuity. I'm going to turn it on. There you go. I'm going to test to make sure continuity works here. Good. And let's see, we'll take the side with the line on it. And where's this? So we said that was negative, right? It says negative. Nope, that's going to be positive. So that's on the inside is the line, so that's positive. And then the black line is going to be negative, which should be the outside of the sheath. There you go. Alright. So remember that. White line is positive. Then what we're going to do is, let's get our battery. I'm going to check the voltage here. For the battery, it's going to be on DC. And we've got, just guessing here, positive 19.6 volts. So that means the positive is on this end. If I would have got them reversed, then it would have said negative and I would have known we were off. This is a negative 19.6. So we know this side is positive and that side is negative, which it's marked on each side of the batteries there. So what we're going to do is just take our alligator clips. Again, this is just temporary. We'll put green on the negative, and red usually means hot, so we'll put that on the positive. We'll connect our wire to it. Alright, so let's connect our positive and our negative. So we said the white line is going to be the power. So this one doesn't have a white line on it. And there's the white line, and it will go to the power. So now on the end here, this barrel connector, it should show 18 volts. So on the end of this barrel connector, we should show a positive on the inside, and negative on the outside should be 19.6 volts. There you go. Perfect. So as we're set up here, I'm going to plug it into our Pinecil, and we're going to watch, see how fast it charges up. Oh, it's starting. It thinks it's connected to the DC power outlet, but I think you can change it to a battery setting, which might conserve it a little bit more. So we're at 290. There we go. Still heating up. There we go. We're at 385. So that, again, that only took less than 10 seconds, so maybe 8 seconds, I didn't really count, to get up to 385. And that's on a battery power. So if I can make connection on our battery a little bit more secure with a better plug system, then now we can just carry that around wherever we need to go, and we will have portable power, soldering power. So wow, I cannot believe that this little wand here can do so much soldering power and portability and the small compact size. I never would have imagined growing up that I'd have something like this. and now I'm glad I have it. So I can't really wait to use it. I've got a list of projects that I want to do and share with everyone. And now that I've got this unboxing video done, we can just get straight into those projects. Now I know some videos watching someone solder can be like watching paint dry unless you're really into the object that they're trying to fix. Since this is just really unboxing, it really was focusing more on the Pinecil. I did want to at least I couldn't leave you without soldering 2 wires together, at least just to show how it works. Starting from cold soldering iron all the way up to getting solder onto the wires. So before we get started, I wanted to show this little trick I saw on the interwebs. If you don't have this, you need this in your soldering kit. All it is wire. I think this is even like a 16, 12 gauge wire. Just something that's stiff that can hold its position if you move it however you want. Put 2 alligator clips on the end. And when you are trying in a weird or tight spot and you want to hold 2 pieces of wire like you're doing an automotive repair and you're trying to connect 2 wires together, first you see how I have the wires spread out, and then you push them kind of together there, get a good connection. And then so you don't have to hold it, you just put your clips on each side of the wire, and that will keep them, and then you can bend it together if they're fighting you. And that way, that's your third hand, and it will keep. So if this was hanging in your vehicle like that, now your hands are free. You don't have to worry about holding the 2 wires together to solder together. So I wanted to show you that before we got started. But we just got 2 random wires. So here we have our battery set up from before. We've got our Pinecil, and we are going to plug it in, and we can count. Maybe on the screen we'll see how long that takes till it gets to 350 degrees. That's where I think we have it set. And this is just off the 18-volt battery power, so see how quickly it takes. A little bit longer. There you go. 375, 380. So however long that took to get to 380, I mean, that's your operating temperature here. So let's move our power wires out of the way. So here's our helping hand like we talked about before. I'm just going to set the soldering iron on our wires. So this is a little bit thicker gauge than just typical electronics, but it will do just as well. Just hold it there. And it's starting to heat up. It's at 380. So, I mean, we just literally just got here in less than 10 seconds. And now we're soldering wires together. I just can't believe it. That's just crazy. From all the other times we had to wait for the soldering iron to heat up. There you go. Put that off to the side. We'll unplug that. Could use a little bit more solder, but wires are hot. Could be a little bit better, but the point is that we got solder on there, and we're done in less than 30 seconds. So there's no reason to let any wiring job hold you up now. You don't have to do any of that waiting to let the iron heat up. You just go and do it and be done with it and move on to your next project. So that is my review of the Pinecil. I'm very happy with it. And if you're interested to learn more about Pinecil, the Pine 64 team, I will have a link in the description to their website and to the actual Pinecil description page. And if you're interested in the soldering iron, the T100, if you don't want to wait for it to come from China about 2.5 weeks, then you can always go to Amazon, and there'll be an Amazon link for the T100. So I appreciate you following me this trip in our shop today, and I will have some great electronic projects coming up in the future. Hope you have a great day, and remember the ABCs of making. Always be creating. Till next time.